So, influence in action, the scripts that get results. So, you know the psychology by now: authority, likability, and consistency. But theory won't change your career, action will. In this lesson, I give you the exact scripts you want to use with your boss, your colleagues, and in meetings to get people to say yes. This is not about manipulation, it's about communication that works in the real world. Section 1: Scripts for persuading your boss. So, your boss is the single most important gatekeeper in your career. Their perception of you can block or accelerate your growth. The mistake most people make is going to their boss with logic alone, or worse, with just raw complaints. Influence requires framing. So, let's say you're getting buy in for an idea. The wrong way would be to say, I think this project will work better if we. But the right way would be, I've looked at 3 approaches. Option A saves the team time, option B reduces the risk, and option C balances both. I recommend option C because it delivers speed and safety, and it positions us well with leadership. So the reason this works is you've framed yourself as the authority, you give them choices, but you guide them towards the one you want. People like to feel like they're choosing, even if you've already shaped the choice. So let's say you're asking for resources now. So the wrong way would be, we don't have enough budget. Can we get more? The right way would be, if we add 5,000 here, we would save 20,000 in rework later. Approving this now positions us to deliver results faster and protects us from the cost overruns. Can we lock in this week? So the reason this works is you tie the request to an outcome that matters to them. You use authority, so straight facts, and consistency. You can get them to commit now to avoid pain later. And you finish with a question: can we lock that in this week? So here's another script: pushing back without looking difficult. So the wrong way would be, I'm too busy, I can't take this on. The right way would say something like, I want to make sure I prioritize correctly. If I take this on now, project X will slip by 2 weeks. Which one do you want me to focus on? The reason this works is you're not rejecting, you're framing the trade-off. Now the boss has to make the decision, not dump everything on you. So remember, never bring problems up, bring options up. Make the boss feel they're choosing, not you. And the person who frames the choice wins the choice. Section 2: Scripts for aligning with colleagues. So colleagues are where politics live. You need them for support, references, credibility. If you don't influence sideways, you'll never influence up. So here's a couple of scripts that could be useful and why they work. When a colleague resists your idea, the wrong way to approach it would be say something like, you're wrong, my way is better. The right way would be, I see why you'd approach it that way. If we try out your way, we gain speed. If we try out my way, we gain accuracy. Which one do you think leadership values more right now? So the reason this works is kind of this comparison mode is you acknowledge them first, which builds likability. Then you frame your idea around a bigger goal, and they can't argue against a bigger goal. Script 2: Building allies before meetings. So this one I talk about a lot. The wrong way to approach this would be walking into a meeting cold. The right way is going up to your colleagues in advance and saying, hey, tomorrow I'll be suggesting we test a new process. I'd like your thoughts in advance. If you think it works, would you back me in the meeting? There's no harm in asking that. And the reason it works is you'll never want to be surprised in a meeting. You build consistency. If they say yes privately, they're likely to say yes publicly. If they say no privately, then at least you know they're going to say no publicly and you can best prepare. Script 3: Handling a colleague who steals credit. Now, this one happens all the time. Again, I've spoken about it a lot. The wrong way is to call them out in front of everyone, because it gets super defensive, there's a lot of noise, and then also you look kind of confrontational. The right way is for saying something simple like, thanks for sharing that, Sam. When I first started testing it last week, I found the same thing. Let me add what I saw after 2 rounds. So you're basically acknowledging what they say, taking it and saying, yeah, when I did that, this is what actually happens, and I'll come back to everyone on this. So not only are you taking the idea back, but you're acknowledging and telling everybody that you're going to be the one who updates them next on that. It shows authority and calmness, which is probably the most important thing in those kind of situations. So when it comes to scripts with colleagues, remember this: influence sideways before you influence up. Meetings are won before they begin, and take credit without taking the bait. Section 3, how to frame requests so people say yes. Framing is everything. A weak request gets rejected. A strong request feels easier to say yes to than no. So rule number 1, anchor to outcomes, not effort. Don't say, this will be hard for us, but we want to try it. Why would you say that? You would say, this will save us 3 hours per week, and we can reinvest that time into higher priority work. Let's say you want to create urgency without panic. Don't say, we need to do this someday. You say, if we don't act this week, we'll lose the window. Acting now protects us and gives us leverage. If you want to make the ask more specific, don't say, we should consider this. Say, I'd like approval to test this with one client next month. If it works, we expand. So here's a couple of examples of how you can get help from a peer. The wrong way would be to say, well, there's no wrong way, but if you just walk up to a peer and say, can you help me with this? There's a 50-50 chance, yeah? They either help you or they don't help you. But my way would be, if you give me 30 minutes this week, we'll hit the deadline without our overruns. That protects both our teams with Thursday afternoon work, right? Why this works is you're being very specific. You framed it as a win-win, and it ties it to outcomes. So just always remember this. Vague requests get vague answers. If saying yes is easier than saying no, you've framed it right. And lastly, deadlines move people more than good intentions. Section 4, the execution mindset. So I talk about scripts a lot. Scripts are tools, but mindset is the foundation. If you deliver a great script with weak energy, it completely fails. If you deliver a simple script with authority and calm, it works really well. And most of my scripts, you don't need to memorize. You need to get into the executive mindset. And that will lead you into calmness, directness, and logic. So here's an execution checklist. Firstly, speak with certainty. People borrow confidence. Use silence, sometimes saying less and pausing, letting it land is all you need to do. Don't rush. Urgency comes with clarity, not speed. You don't need to rush to say 300 words in 1 minute. Frame the choice, always shape the trade-off. Collect allies before the meeting, never go alone. I remember this manager once told me, I don't say yes to the best idea, I say yes to the ideas that feel the safest. And I thought, oh, this is very cliche, but the more I thought about it, the more it's right? Influence isn't about proving your idea is perfect, it's about making people feel safe to choose it. So to finish off, influence isn't about being right. It's about making right feel safe. Speak with confidence, pause with authority, and leave no doubt. People don't follow ideas, they follow conviction. Influence in action looks simple, if you think about it, but it's built on psychology and strategy. And most of the smartest professionals, they know this, and they've either learned it subconsciously or consciously. And what we're doing today is we're learning it consciously. The person who frames the choice collects allies and delivers with conviction every time. In my next lesson, which is the final lesson, I'll show you how to turn these scripts into daily habits so influence becomes your default, not something you have to switch on or memorize, because influence isn't a one-time trick. It's your reputation you build and build and build, a bit like going to the gym. And once you have it, opportunities chase you instead of chasing them.